Hi, my name is Rebecca Lee, and I co-wrote this book, The Mercury Detoxification Manual, with Andy Cutler, PhD, who I always say in these videos should have got a Nobel Prize for what he figured out. So in my video before last, I promised to explain how the Andy Cutler protocol is set up. I realize that some of the people who may be listening to me have no idea what I'm talking about, so here goes. Andy Cutler was a chemistry PhD and was my friend and mentor, and I co-wrote this book with him. He was forced to apply his considerable intellect to the problem of mercury poisoning because he got poisoned himself from some dental work. The worst thing that happened to him was his intellect stopped working, although he got plenty of other unfortunate symptoms too. So sort of on autopilot, I guess, and once he had established that mercury was indeed the problem, he applied himself to figuring out how to get it out of his brain. Because once it's in there, it does not come out on its own, and it just continues burning the crap out of everything and messing you up. And Dr. Russell Blaylock gave a talk about this recently, by the way. Fortunately, Andy had done his graduate work on chemical kinetics, and this problem turned out to be one of pharmacokinetics, which is the study of how chemicals behave once they get into your body. It has always been well understood in chemistry that certain molecules will bond with metals and dislodge them from wherever they are stuck. These are called chelators, and various chelators work for different metals. And we tend to focus on mercury because that is the mother of all toxic metals and the one we see most frequently. The big problem with mercury is the issue of redistribution. A harmful chelation protocol, we tell you in the book, is one that moves mercury around a lot before it comes out, end quote. A doctor who just looks at how much you are excreting does not understand what he is doing. It doesn't matter how much you excrete if you are moving mercury out of someplace where it is not hurting you and into your brain or liver or immune system or HPA axis. And these sensitive parts of your body are especially high on thiol groups, to which mercury is particularly attracted. When you get exposed to mercury, and particularly if you are a poor excreter, it attaches to the thiol groups in this or that compartment of your body. But what happens when you dislodge it and it moves into your blood? Some of it will get excreted, no doubt, but what doesn't rackets around and gets redistributed. The danger is that it will move from some place where it was fairly benign into some other where it can do grievous harm, like your brain. In the case where you move huge amounts, as with intravenous chelators, this happens almost inevitably, and our support groups are littered with the poor people who found this out the hard way. This is why we have our do not do list, and we warn people, as I am warning you right here, watch out for those charismatic psychopaths with quick and miraculous fixes, and watch out for random advice. At the very least, read our do not do list before you try anything. Andy figured out how to move the mercury in a very conservative way and how to maximize the amount of mercury you excrete and minimize the amount that gets redistributed. A chelator for mercury has these two thiol group molecules. In the detox manual, we say, the thiol groups on the mercury chelator, quote, are placed an appropriate distance apart so they can fit around the mercury ion. Mercury is particularly attracted to thiol sulfur, which is found in every cell in the body. When the chelator molecule comes along, it attaches itself to the mercury ion. The bond is strong and it rips the mercury away from where it is lodged. The chelator molecule with this little payload now flows along in the bloodstream, destined to be excreted. Unfortunately, it does not have a perfect grip, and after a while it loses its hold. The chelator has exceeded its half-life in the body and has started to dissipate. When this happens, the mercury will zip off and reattach itself to some other attractive sulfury location, end quote. The mercury will get dropped off wherever the chelator loses hold. And if you have been using alpha-lipoic acid, which is fat-soluble, that new location could be your brain, which is apparently full of the thiol groups that mercury likes so much. The mechanics behind the Andy Cutler protocol is to dose the chelators on their half-life. So every time the mercury is about to get dumped, there is a new fresh dose of chelator armed and ready to pick it up. That is the whole theory behind this method. Over the years, we have refined aspects of the protocol with what not to do lists, the number of days for a minimum round of chelation, help for various symptoms as they show up and disappear, and astounding amounts of other issues that came up and turned out to be important. There is this whole book about it right here, packed with information on how to do this without injuring yourself. So if you are suffering from some constellation of the 250 plus symptoms that mercury can cause, get this book and read it. The information is also available for free in the files of the Andy Cutler Chelation Support Group on Facebook. In order to co-write this book, I had to understand many concepts that Andy wasn't very good at explaining to the uninitiate. So consider hiring me as a coach, which would make me very happy. There is a tab to sign up for coaching on my website. Maybe it's mercury.com. I've also created a video-based workshop, which you can purchase for 20% off right now until November 15th. This workshop will make things way easier to understand, and you can listen to me explain things while you're doing your chores. So please like and share and all those good things. Let's get this information out there for all those poor sick people out there, as Andy used to put it.